All right, let's get right into it. If you're a professional tattoo artist, you know there are few things more aggravating than having a tool break on you right in the middle of a piece. Today, we're going to tackle one of the big ones, that dreaded broken spring on a high-performance machine.
Come on, you know the feeling. You're in the zone, everything's flowing, the lines are perfect, and then snap. Just like that, your whole session grinds to a halt. It absolutely kills your momentum, and let's be real, it's just plain frustrating.
And that's the real kicker, isn't it? You've invested your hard-earned money in a top-tier premium machine, so when a little piece like that fails, it's so easy to think, what the heck, is there something wrong with my machine? But what if I told you that's not the real story?
So let's just completely reframe how we're thinking about this. A spring breaking isn't a defect. It's not a flaw. It's actually a direct result of the very thing that makes these machines so incredible in the first place: raw, unapologetic power.
Just take a look at this comparison, because it really tells the whole story. Your average standard machine, it's got a weaker hit. It's gentler, which means it puts way less stress on its parts. So yeah, of course the springs almost never break. But Vlad Blad machines, well, they're a different beast. They're built to deliver a punchy, powerful hit that sinks ink like nobody's business. And all that power, all that vibration, naturally puts way more stress on the spring.
So, this is the main thing I want you to walk away with. A broken spring isn't a sign your machine is faulty. It's a sign that it's powerful. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's not a flaw, it's just physics, plain and simple. More force equals more stress.
But, just because it's a physics problem doesn't mean the team at Vlad Blad just shrugged and accepted it. Not even close. In fact, they have been on this relentless, obsessive quest to engineer the toughest, most durable spring humanly possible.
And when I say obsessed, I'm not kidding. This wasn't about just finding a decent supplier. They went on a global hunt, testing dozens of different spring steels from the US, Europe, everywhere. They tried every single cutting method you can imagine, punching, lasers, water jets. And when none of that was good enough for them, they literally built their own custom CNC machine just to get the precision they demanded. It's that dedication that led to their own unique process for making these things.
And they back all that hard work with a serious promise. They were the first, and maybe the only, company to offer free spring replacements for a full year after you buy a machine. That's not just a warranty, you guys. That's a statement. It says they have confidence in their work and that they're here to support the artists who use their tools.
Okay, so the company's insane level of engineering is one half of the equation, but the other half? Well, that's you. As an artist using a high-performance tool, there are a couple of really key things you can do to make those springs last as long as possible.
First up, let's talk about the silent killer, micro-rust. You have to think of moisture as the absolute enemy of your springs. Even a tiny, invisible bit of moisture can create a microscopic weak spot in the steel. On a weaker machine, that might not ever be a problem. But under the intense power of a Vlad Blad, that tiny little weak spot becomes the exact point where a crack starts. The fix is so simple, but you gotta be religious about it. Keep your machine clean and totally, completely bone dry after every use.
And the second pro tip is a technical one, so listen up. It's a common mistake for artists to just crank up the amplitude to get more needle hang. The problem is that puts an insane amount of extra stress on the spring that it just wasn't designed for. The correct way is to adjust your needle protrusion. So here's the magic number. Your needle should stick out just 1 to 2 millimeters when the machine is turned off. That's the sweet spot for peak performance without torturing your spring.
Okay, so we've talked about the power and we've talked about prevention. But that still doesn't explain what is, for my money, the most maddening part of this whole issue. Why it all seems so random.
Right? This is the thing that can drive you absolutely crazy. You pop in a new spring and it breaks after just a few tattoos. You put another one in and that one seems to last for 5 years. It feels totally unpredictable. So what on earth is going on here?
Well, the answer isn't luck and it's not a fluke. The secret is buried deep inside the metal itself.
Here's something you have to understand. Even the most expensive, highest quality spring steel in the world is not 100% perfect. At a microscopic level, there can be these tiny, invisible inconsistencies or stress points inside the metal, flaws that are literally impossible to see.
Now, if you take that piece of steel and you put it in a less powerful machine, that tiny flaw will never, ever be a problem. There's just not enough force, not enough vibration to ever exploit it. It just goes completely unnoticed for the entire life of the machine.
But when you put that exact same spring into a high-performance Vlad Blad machine, all that power acts like a stress test.
It finds that hidden, pre-existing flaw in the steel and it exposes it, which causes the crack. So get this, the machine didn't create the flaw, its power was just strong enough to find it.
So what's the bottom line for you, the artist? It means you're not dealing with this stuff on your own. The company gets it. They understand the unique demands of their machines, and they've built a whole support system around that fact.
I mean, their promise is right here. They offer support 7 days a week. They stand by that 1-year free replacement policy. They're constantly trying to upgrade their manufacturing to make things even better. The main thing they want you to know is that your machine isn't broken. It's just operating at a whole different level, and they're there to back you up.
And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. When you use a high-performance tool, it means you have to hold everything to a higher standard, the tool and yourself. It's about understanding the physics and working with the tool, not against it.
So the last thing I'll leave you with is this question. You've chosen a machine that was built to push the limits. The only question is, are your maintenance and setup habits also operating at that same professional, high-performance level?